I am very mad at myself because I deleted some videos that I should not have deleted. I deleted a lot of videos off my channel, and the reason that I did it was because when I did it, I was in a very bad mental place, and I did not want anything that didn't have to do with just me and Starscream as a couple to be on my channel. Looking back, I see what a horrible decision this was, and I'm remaking the first. This is probably the only video I'm going to remake, but this is a video that has to be remade because I am foolish to delete this video, and I need everyone to know my reasoning for this. This is why Transformers Prime Starscream saved my life. Okay? Now, I talked briefly about this in my I Stayed Alive for My Best Friend video, but I'm going to elaborate on it so much more here and talk about why Transformers Prime Starscream is literally a character that I live for. Okay? I need you all to understand that emotionally I have not been in a very good place since April 2018. I was shattered by a person who I thought I would be close to forever. She was the only person who lived in my town that I thought would be a good friend, because all my other good friends are long distance. And that's the reason that I think it shattered me so much, was because she was in town. And I thought it was going to work out, and it didn't. So, this person who shattered me, before she did so, she introduced me to Transformers Prime. And she made her hatred of Starscream quite clear. In the back of my mind, I always knew I loved Starscream, but I had to hide it from her for so long, and I actually had to make up that I loved another character, and fooled myself into believing I loved that character just to please the girl that introduced me to Transformers Prime. That is not a healthy mental relationship! But I thought it was because I was so desperate for a friend at the time. I was literally the servant of evil. I would do anything to please anyone if it would mean them giving me some friendship. Anyway, after I'd been shattered, I watched Transformers Prime on my own for the very first time, and I got to love it for myself rather than loving it for her. And one of the things that I realized and rekindled my love about it was Starscream. Now, before Starscream, my very big love interest was Invader Zim. Invader Zim, to me, was someone who I needed to love and protect and lighten the heart of. He had been banished by his own planet, and everyone on Earth hated him, and he could never get anything done right, and Gur was so awful. And when I loved Zim, I thought he would be forever. Well, Invader Zim was ruined for me by something that I will not go into because talking about it still hurts. But let's just say Zim was ruined for me. And so for the longest time, I didn't have a place. I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have a reason for existence. And then when this girl introduced me to the Transformers, something about the Decepticons clicked with me. And I realize now that what clicked with me, and I actually mentioned this a bit in my Decepticon Alter Tour, what clicked with me was my love of Starscream. And how much he reminded me of Zim and how much I wanted to protect him. I saw the suffering that Starscream was put through, and thought to myself, this is way too familiar. Because while I've never dealt with physical suffering, the emotional suffering I've dealt with at the hands of several family members has caused me to be scarred, deformed, and broken, to a point where I cannot trust anyone for fear of getting shattered again. Watching Starscream and being able to love him for myself rather than being forced to hide my love of him for someone else made me open myself up. And the reason he saved my life, and the reason he has saved my life so many times, is because of two reasons. Reason number one, I have seen him suffer on Prime. I've seen him get something valuable taken away from him, his wings. When he got his T-Cod taken, I cried at the end of that episode. I cried for poor Starscream. But even after all that suffering, he kept going. He kept persisting. And I thought, if Starscream can persist, then so can I. And so I keep persisting. And it's because I've studied him so much that his character now comes out in my escape world so much that it is as if he is with me. When I cry into that Starscream body pillow, it is almost as if he is actually there to embrace me, to tell me that he's been through worse and he got through it, and I can get through it too. That night when I almost took my own life, I can't believe I just said that. This is the first time I've actually verbalized it, but that Sunday night, not last week, but 2 weeks ago, when I nearly ended everything, I heard his voice in my head. And you want to know what he said to me? I'll not do an imitation because this is serious. But what he said to me in my head is, if I can persist through Megatron's torment, then you can persist through your own, and I will stand beside you. And I rose from where I was sitting in my closet with Richard, my collar, in my hand, my dog collar. I walked out of my closet door, and I went to my Starscream body pillow and hugged him. I held him tightly, and I thanked him. And from this day forward, I will never, ever leave him. I thought I would never leave Zim either. Zim may have comforted me through a lot, including some difficulties with bullying at the school for the blind I was attending, and some difficulties with an emotionally and physically abusive father. But when I was with Zim, I never thought to take my own life. My big depression on Sunday came from a very intense situation at the house where everyone was angry, and no one was really angry at me, but I felt like it was. And my anxiety crept over me so badly. But those words from Starscream in my head, they calmed me completely. They held me, and they're still holding me. And I have not had a single thought of ending everything since I had that experience. And that is why I know I will never leave the Decepticons like I was forced to leave the Irken Empire. I won't let anything push me out. I will stay by the side of the Decepticons. I will stay by Starscream's side because he saved my life. Thank you for listening. And if speaking the truth is deception, I am gladly guilty. May Megatron lead you.